What's happening, everybody? I'm glad so far tonight, thank God, we have no issue with StreamYard, and we are going to finally get our man, Mr. Dan Clutch Giancola, on to tell us part two of what was an incredible part one. What's even more incredible about this, as you know, when something is 100% real and factual, and in this case, the refusal to quit, and as you'll see in part two, it gets even more serious than football. So let me just say hello to our community, friends, and family and crew, whatever word we have. I love you guys, Dan does, and everybody else does. So here we go. BX, what's up, my brother? Dave T, how are you? CG2 in the house as always. BX, I mean it, bro. It is a pleasure to have you here. Davey T, guys, I could do a story about every name I see. You know it. Matty Boy, what's happening? CG2, love you, baby. You know it. Christina Giancola, special dad, no doubt. Maureen Frick, how are you, my dear? How are you? Shout out to my man Nikki. Feel better, Nikki, if you're listening. Get well soon, brother. I know you're good. Just want to let you know we're thinking about you. I know it ain't nothing serious. Ain't nothing you ain't kicked in the ass before. Feel well, brother. And I think we got everybody. Benny Boy, what's happening? And I'm Timmy Irish always. Oh boy, I would have been in big trouble for that. SG, what's happening? How are you, dear? Mom is back. How are you, Miss G? With that being said, let's get to it. Let's bring in our friend, who the story is about him. Joe, how are you? Always a pleasure. Mama G, it's always a pleasure. As we get into the story of part two, I'm not going to disrespect Dan or the chat from hearing what Dan is talking about. So if I miss anybody that comes in late, I will get to you at the end of the show like we always do. Okay? Without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Dan Clutch. Bobby, how are you? Justin under the wire, Bobby. Dan Clutch Giancola. Danny boy, how are you, my friend?
My brother, how are you doing, buddy?
I am good, man, and it is a pleasure. We finally get to do part two.
Yeah, man.
You know, you're telling me about your voice. I was running late. I'm going, oh, my God, if I got to cancel this tonight, this will be horrible. They're going to want to hang me. The chat, that is. Forget about you. You would have, you know. But no, we made it happen. And then you telling me you weren't feeling well yesterday and you lost your voice. God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Out, right?
Honest to God, bro. You know, the crazy part is, like, I do a lot of screaming in class. And
motivation, yep.
It actually, to be honest with you, it's stress related for me. And I did my class yesterday morning. By 1 or 2 o'clock, I got no voice. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I wasn't even worried about the rest of the day. I was like, I got to do a podcast tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what, Danny? You know what, Danny? If you heard me sing Love on the Rocks, I had no voice either.
Right.
If I lost a bet, I had to sing that Love on the Rocks. They don't let me live it down. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, if you heard it, I thank God I deleted it a little early. I was supposed to leave it up for 24 hours. I didn't.
Yeah.
I cheated. I kept it up for about 10 hours and deleted it.
Nice.
So I kept half my word.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hard part was singing it.
Right.
All right. You know, Dan, I was thinking, I put a little something together for you. You know, bring back some thoughts of yesteryear and good, bad, maybe emotional, whatever. But this is for you, pal. So I'm going to take us down and let us chat, see what we put together. It's not long. And then we'll come back in and get right into it. All right, pal?
Absolutely, brother. Looking forward to it.
All right, here we go. All right, chat. We put a little something together for Danny and family. Here we go. I'm sorry, but you're going to get me. It's about you, but yeah.
Thank you, bro.
You're a man, a woman, and you can't feel that. Well,
Every time.
something ain't right.
Every time. Thank you so much,
Love
buddy.
you,
That
buddy.
was beautiful, bro.
Nah, man. I'm sorry
Every
to bring
time.
up those raw emotions.
No, it's fitting because the anniversary of my heart attack was May 20th,
Wow.
4 years ago, 2020. So thank you. That was beautiful, brother.
My pleasure to have you here, and I'm honored. And I got to tell you, we've done a lot of different things here, and we're going to do a lot more. I've told many people, especially some people you know very well. I feel so proud to be able to platform this more than you'll ever know, pal.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much, man.
More than you'll
Means a
ever
lot.
know.
Means a
All
lot,
right.
buddy.
Enough of the cry fest. Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother.
It's
Let's
both
do it.
of us.
Let's get right into this
All
bad
right.
boy.
All right, let me get the group together, and let's roll, baby. Let's roll. Maddie says, "Stop! You're killing me." I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm killing myself. All right, here we go. Danny.
Yeah.
Let's go back. We're not going to go all the way back. Let's go back. So you accomplish what needed to be accomplished on the field. You never quit. You never gave up. You proved to yourself, forget the doubters. You could look in the mirror. I did it. I held up the Grey Cup. As you can see, the guy behind you is kicking. That's Danny Clutch Giancola kicking for, I believe, the Toronto Argonauts. That's the backboard. I just want you to know, man, you mean a lot to a lot of people. And there's a gentleman, his name is Joe LaFranchi, and he sent me a message. And I know Joe, and he's a man's man and a tough guy and a good guy. And he said, Craig, every kid should see and listen and watch your story before they get into those teen years. Get a good understanding of your life. And that's what he said to me.
That means
and
a lot,
I wanted
man.
to share that with you because it's real.
That means a lot.
Yeah, your story is real, and it's touching, and it's about the fight. and we're going to talk about really fighting now.
Yeah.
So the career ends, and you reach the pinnacle, and you go into you retire from the game. Talk to us about what goes on after that, if you can.
You know,
And I
I
know
think
there's a lot.
we were talking about this last week, and one of the things that I had said, Craig, was, you know, for a lot of guys, for a lot of players, it's extremely hard after the game, because, you know, I mean, I can't relate to this. A lot of the guys, you know, they've had so many things handed to them. And when I say handed to them, I want to make sure I clarify that they have the ability to play. So they are put up on this pedestal from like the time that people realize that. And whether it's money, you know, gifts, just the attention, you know, your, you know, whoever, what professional athlete it is. And you're, you know, you're put up on this pedestal and, you know, your whole life. Then you're making an obscene amount of money. You're doing commercials, you're signing autographs, you're making millions of dollars. You drive all these beautiful sports cars. And unfortunately, like I was told in my first year, rookie year, it doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
And you have to absorb every second of it. You got to be good with your money. And you have to remember that what you're doing for a living is a very short period of time of your life. The lifespan of a pro athlete is very small. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, after life after football, they don't find that I guess almost like a replacement. Because, you know, how do you replace playing in front of 80,000 people in a stadium? Millions of people, you know, you have adored fans all over, you know, the country, all over the world. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. It's gone. And so for me, thank God the transition for me was actually, I wouldn't say easy because, you know, obviously you miss the game, like I just said, but I got into something that was more rewarding personally. Football is a team sport. Being a personal trainer, you have an impact with an individual. So for me, when somebody comes up to me and said, "Hey, Dan, you know, you saved my marriage. You saved my life. You've given me a better quality of life. You've restored self-confidence." When somebody says that to you, man, you internalize it and you're like, wow, like, man, I'm making a difference in this person's life. You know, when you're a pro athlete, you're an entertainer. And you entertain for the most part, unless you're, you know, a golfer or tennis player, something is an individual sport. But I played soccer at a high level. I represented my country, my province, my region. I played for professional football. I represented a city, cities. But as a trainer, the transition for me was so much more easier because I have a passion and I love what I do. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question, but life
No.
after football for me,
Yeah.
thank God I didn't resort to drugs and drinking and, you know, and not having any money left. You know, I was smart with it. I didn't make a lot of it, but for what I had, I would trade it. If I could tell you right now that I could keep my job, and anybody who knows me, anybody can Google this all the way back from 1999. They know that I was very vocal and I told people, if I can keep my job as a personal trainer, I would have played that game for free. And I know there's going to be people on here, they're going to go, oh, bull, you know, whatever it is. Listen,
I know that.
when you're in your contract year to renegotiation and you're sitting in front of a wall of media like I did, and you say out loud that I would play this game for free,
Absolutely.
knowing damn well you just screwed your agent who's trying to get you more money for the next year. There's my wife right there. You always said that. I always said that. I would play that game for free because I had a passion for it. I loved it. And I would even do what I do now for a living for free because it's so rewarding to my heart. But, you know, we all got to make money. We got to make a living, right?
Bottom line.
So I love what I do every day, Craig. I hope that answers your question.
No, you answered it, and you answered it well. I want to apologize, Christina. You know, I got you confused with Johnny Farinacci's daughter always comes on, and I got you confused. I apologize, hon. I know you're Dan's wife. I said daughter. I apologize for that. That's on me. It's, this brain doesn't always work so well, you know, as you've seen some meltdowns before. Anyway, so Danny, so you realize this, it's so rewarding to work with individuals on a one-on-one basis.
Right.
And from the outside looking in, I understand it. From watching my children work with strength and conditioning coaches for whatever they were doing or doing now, and I see that gratification at the end of a session, at the end of whatever, when they see what they want to see out of their student. It could be mine or somebody else. That gratification is there,
right?
And it's got to be special. It's got to be a special feeling. It really must be. And I played teams.
I always said, Craig, you know, man, when you choose your, I say this all the time. It's something I've always said, whether it's my motivational speaking, whatever it is. I always tell people, I said the same thing to my daughter. Love what you do. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because you know what's going to happen? Eventually, if you're unhappy, you're going to fall apart, bro. I can honestly say this to you. Since 1999, I have never, ever, I've had a job.
That's beautiful.
I played football for 10 years. I played football for 10 years.
Right. It wasn't work.
I'm a personal trainer. I have these massive classes that are here.
You're blessed.
It's not a job. I always tell my wife, I'm going to the studio. I'm going to the gym now. I'm going to go play.
Not going to work.
I love what I do. And I've always told people, when you love what you do, the money will always be there.
Absolutely.
Do it for the love of it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
You're not going to work. It's not a job. When you can find what you love, what you're doing, boy, it's easy. But
I'm not looking at this clock right now and sitting there going, oh, man, you know, we got another 45 minutes. We got another hour.
That means a lot to me. You enjoy us. That's great. That's what
I love this,
for me, the same. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy it.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I got it, brother. I want to get into now some stuff that I only know a little bit about because of we thought we were live and we wanted to have a conversation. Otherwise, we found out later on nobody heard nothing.
That was a great time, though. I got to tell you, bro, that was one of my, hey, listen to me, before we go any further, that was one of my best effing podcasts. I can't believe we weren't on live.
That's some of the best work I ever did.
That was, man, we were blowing this shit up.
Now they can't say, because I always like, oh, we do everything unscripted. Now they're going to say, no, bullshit, this is scripted. You had 40 minutes.
It was so good. It was so good.
All right, man.
It'll be just as good.
It's true. But let's get it right into it. So let's talk about, you got the training thing going on. You're fulfilled. You're feeling good. Everything is going well. What happens health-wise that changes everything?
It was So I'm just going to scale back for half a
Yeah,
second
do
so
your
I can
thing,
keep
man.
everybody to speed.
Absolutely.
It was 2020 is when obviously COVID came in. And at that point, I was getting anywhere from 38 people in a class to 55 people in a class a couple times a day. And people, this place became the familia. Like this was the family that we create here. We create that support group. So all of a sudden, because of what I do for a living, the government, one of the first things they said was, okay, all gyms are shut down.
Yeah.
So we were the first ones to go, and we were the last ones to be brought back with restrictions. So when we initially, the government said, lockdown, we weren't even 2 weeks closed. And I started getting quite a few clients messaging me. They were resulting to drugs, alcohol, spousal abuse. I even had a client message me and say they feel suicidal because they said, when I come to you, you got to remember now, it's not about me. Training is about releasing your stress, releasing your endorphins. It's a place to go that for 1 hour a day, it's your time. Nobody else. Nobody else. It's your time. And when that started happening, I remember saying to my wife, I got to do something. I got to do something. So she says, well, we're locked down. What are you going to do? I says, well, you know what? I can drive to the studio. And what I'll start doing is I'll start doing online for free. I always wanted to try it anyway.
Right.
So for me, it was an opportunity. We started with 20, 25 people online. I started doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 3 times a week. And it was from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Within 1 month, we went from 25 people to upwards to 5,000 people online because they heard about this guy who was doing this free training. My cousins in Italy, all over the world, England, people were sending me stuff. I gotta be that one street sign that somebody sent to me with a British logo on it, and people were dropping off flowers at my door and chocolates and all this stuff to say thank you because people were offering to pay me, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. I want to do this for people's mental health.
Right.
We went from 3 times a week to every morning from Monday to Saturday morning, 10:30 to 11, and Monday to Thursday evening at 6 p.m. It was May 20th, like I've always done my entire life, that we've all done. We've all done this since the day we were born. We go to bed only with to have the expectation that we're going to wake up in the morning, and then life continues. I woke up that morning, Craig, I felt fantastic. I was tired. My wife will tell you I was tired. I get up, I go to Tim Hortons, I go grab myself a coffee and a tea. For some reason, I bought both of them that day. I think my stomach was bothering me a little bit, and I was tired, so I got an iced coffee. I put my stuff down on the speaker, on the stereo, like I always do. Okay, guys, let's go, just like I got right now. And I take my phone, I put it on a table, and I do body weight training because nobody had equipment. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do body weight training for everybody, for every level. 10:30, I come on. I'm doing my class. I feel good. The music is rocking. Let's go. Let's do this, guys. It was 10 to 11. I'll never forget it. all of a sudden, the flu-like symptoms came over me. And I'm telling you, bro, I was sick. Like, I mean, I was ready to yak. And the first thing I thought was, okay, look, you probably got the flu, food poisoning. You got to finish this. You got to finish this for the people. Unbeknownst to me, I'd have no idea what's happening. I do the last 10 minutes. I remember lying on my back after it was finished. And I said, oh my God, I got to get outside. I get up, I walk outside. One of my clients rolls up on her bike. And, you know, you got to keep that social distancing and all that other crap
Yeah.
that they told you. And she ended up talking to me for 20 minutes. And all I wanted to do was get back in the studio. I felt like I had to throw up. Next thing you know, I say bye to her. I lock the doors, which I probably should have never done. And I practically sprint to the bathroom. I'm hugging the porcelain. I'm on my knees. My face is legitimately, I'm pretty sure I was puking so bad. I think I remember my face actually hitting the water. That was all of a sudden, Craig, the pain in my back. And I think I was telling you when we were on last time, I can't pretend to know what it's like to get shot.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
I have no idea what it's like to get stabbed.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that I probably would take either one of those over the pain that was radiating through the center of my back. So next thing you know, I'm hovering over in so much pain. And I remember going, I got to get to my phone. I get to the phone and I called my wife. I said, hey, babe, she's at work. She works in a doctor's office. And she said, what's going on? You okay? I said, I don't know. I got the flu horrible. I got a massive pain in my back. It's probably my gallbladder. I said, do you feel okay? Like, do you feel sick? She said, no, I feel fine. So I said to her, I said, okay, I'll message you. I think I'm going to roll my back out. So what I would do when it's my gallbladder is I would grab a medicine ball or some form of a ball, and I would lie on my back and start rolling my back out on the ball. And a lot of times it would release the pressure.
Right.
Next thing you know, I remember saying this to the media because the media got a hold of this. And I told them it was the worst thing and the best thing that I've ever done in my entire life. And they said, why? And I said, because the second that I rolled my back out, the pain shot like a sword, like a pitchfork, right through the center of my back, right through the center of my chest. I couldn't even get up off the floor. I crawled to the stereo. I grabbed the shelves and I pulled myself up and I just started crying. I legit started crying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like what the hell's happening? I make my way to the car. I lock the doors. And I was conflicted. Like, do I call an ambulance or do I go home? No, I was telling you the last time I had a cousin, Sherry, her husband, Russ. He went home feeling sick one time. And he was home for a couple hours. I'm going to make this a real long story short.
No, go ahead.
He was sick like a dog. It subsided a little bit. When my cousin Sherry walked in the door, opened the door, he got up, he took 2 steps, and he fell dead on his face. And they tried to revive him. They were giving him CPR. And
yeah, I got you, brother.
I remember that, bro. When I was going through what I was going through, I remember that. And I'm like, man, I know I shouldn't go home, but I'm scared. I get through the tunnel. There's a Thorold tunnel over here. My city connects the cities. I get outside and I remember picking up the phone again and I called my wife and I said, babe, I'm in so much pain, man. I think I'm having a heart attack. She says to me, what are your symptoms? It's going through my back, through my chest. Now I'm starting to feel it in my arm. She goes, you got to go to the hospital right now. I said, I don't know. I'm scared. I want to go home. I go, you're off work. Can you leave now? She says, I got another 20 minutes. Go to the hospital now. I turn the car around and I start flying toward the hospital, St. Catherine's Hospital. I'm on the highway. I get to the point where there's a big bend. And I was in so much pain. I was underneath the steering wheel. It literally was up. I could barely see between the dash and the wheel. And I remember right there, I made peace with God. And I said, God, if this is my time, this is verbatim, bro. This is verbatim. If it's my time, thank you. I've had a beautiful life. Just do me a favor. Please take care of my wife and my daughter. I make it to the hospital. I'm in the parking lot. Not thinking, I followed the rule of the land. You have to park in the back because it's during COVID. Nobody's allowed in the hospital unless yourself if you're sick. I'm walking toward the emergency, and 4 nurses that I train here at my studio, they were like, hey, Dan, what's going on? How you doing, man? How you doing? And I said, hey, guys, how you doing? I was talking like this. Hey, guys, how you doing? I was hiding it. I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. They started laughing. They thought I was kidding. Next thing you know, they saw I was serious. He said, Dan, go straight to emerge. I get into emerge. And of course, COVID. So you got to go through the first screening.
Yeah.
Then you got to go through the second screening. Then you got to go to registration. And then they send you to either A or B, A being more serious than B. I sat in A for another 20 minutes. Next thing you know, they called me. A nurse comes up to me and she says to me, Mr. Giancola, come on in. I walk in, I sit down in a seat and says, I hear you're having a heart attack. I said, I don't know, I think so. What's the pain at right now? And at that point, it subsided. It's about a 7. She goes, okay. Next thing you know, she does my blood pressure. She goes, you're 171 over 111. She goes, obviously, you're probably, on a good day, I have what they call white coat syndrome. I walk into a doctor's office, instantly I go from 120 over 80 to 190 over 200. I mean, I'm exaggerating. But
I think that's the Italian curse.
yeah, 100% it is the Italian curse. So she didn't seem too concerned. She says, okay, do me a favor. Can you lie on your back? We're going to give you an ECG. Or in some cases, they call it EKG. She puts everything on me. Next thing you know, the paper comes through. She rips this paper off. She goes, I'll be back in a second, Mr. Giancola. What a poker face. I absolutely loved her. Yeah. She walks out. She comes back in, Craig. All hell broke loose, bro. Next thing you know, there's about 6, 7 nurses, 4 doctors. One's got my one arm, put an IV, get my other arm IV. I had to chew 2 blue pills, and they were spraying something underneath my tongue, which I know now was aspirin and nitro.
Nitroglycerin, yeah.
So next thing you know, they asked me if my wife's here. I said, yeah, she's in the parking lot. What does she drive? I tell her what she drives. Just as she walks in with my daughter, I look over to my right and they're standing right there and I'm like, holy crap. This has got to be bad because nobody's allowed in here during COVID. Doctor looks right at me and says, Mr. Giancola, you're having what we call an acute heart attack. Time is of the essence. could have handled it better.
Take your time, brother.
My wife and my
Yeah,
my
I
wife
got
and
you.
my daughter weren't there.
I know.
I didn't want them to see me like that, and I didn't want to get into that ambulance and be the last time that I saw them and they were crying.
Let it out, brother. You're with family here, man.
Yeah. So my wife's crying and my daughter's holding my hand. I looked at them both with a brave face, not crying, dying inside. And I said, guys, I'll be okay. I'll see you soon. Next thing you know, man, they're flying me out. I get into the ambulance, we're flying, we're moving. I remember they got a pair of scissors and they literally just shredded my shirt, ripped my shirt off. And they put this big patch on me right here. I knew what it was. I didn't need anybody to tell me. She looks at me and she goes, we're putting this on just in case. I remember looking at the ceiling of I'll never forget it. I remember looking at the ceiling of the ambulance. And I remember saying to myself, are you kidding me? I'm having a heart attack. And they just put a freaking defibrillator on me. As we were driving, I remember a calm came over me. And I remember saying, it's not my time. It's not my time. They got me out of the ambulance. We were booking, man. We were booking. We raced right through the waiting area. And when I tell you waiting area, I know because my dad had a heart attack. My uncle had a heart attack, his brother. And they went there for their stents. And it's like an assembly line. At the perimeter of the room, there's probably, give or take, about 50 beds. And people go in this thing, and it's kind of sad. They raced me right through them. And next thing you know, they picked me up from the stretcher and threw me on the operating table. They wheel this massive monitor. Doctor says to me, Mr. Giancola, time is of the essence. Please don't talk. Please don't ask any questions. We're going to roll a monitor up over here. You're more than welcome to watch what we're doing. I forgot to put this in my book. I'm just remembering now. I remember a friend of mine. He had a heart attack and he was in the operating room. And he was having one heart attack after another. And he kept saying, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. And I just was praying to God that that wasn't going to be me, bro. I was praying to God that wasn't going to be me. Next thing you know, I felt what felt like to be water on my wrist. Little did I know it was blood pouring from my wrist. And they went in with the camera. 90 minutes later, trust me, I know it was 90 minutes because the clock was right there. They said, Mr. Giancola, we got it. Yeah, I see my wife right there. It was the worst. Yeah. Worst. And said, we got it. We're going to the next one. And I was thinking to myself, next one? What the hell did you just get? I didn't say nothing. I kept my mouth shut like they asked me to. Next thing you know, we had a little bit of comedy. The blood pressure, my arms are fairly big from my working out. And the blood pressure cuff blew up on my arm. It actually blew up and made a big bang. And I remember joking to the doctor and I said, well, if I didn't have a heart attack, I sure the hell had one just now. They got a new cuff. They put it on me. And next thing you know, I'm in the ICU. So like I told you, you wake up in the morning and we have this, what's the word I'm looking for? Expectation that when you get up in the morning, you're going to go to bed at night and everything's going to be good because we're immortal. And up to that point, I'm telling you right now, I was like my dad. My dad was Superman to me. Nothing will take me down. And at the end of the day, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. My mom told me, don't go on Facebook. I'm like, Mom, I have to. Everybody knows it was on all the radio stations. It was on TSN. It was on ESPN. It went everywhere. And I go on Facebook. Instantly, hundreds of people came on. Hundreds of people. And I started telling people how ashamed I was, how embarrassed I was. Here I am. I'm a former professional athlete. I'm supposed to be the pillar of health. I preach training to prevent all this, eating the right foods. Here I am lying in the ICU, clinging for my life. Doctor came in the morning. They started coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning. The first doctor came in and said, Mr. Giancola, you're a walking miracle. I said, well, why is that, doctor? You had what we call the widowmaker. You had 100% blockage of your main artery. And that artery is responsible for pumping blood through the heart. And it was completely blocked. So technically you should have died right there in your studio. To make matters worse, we went to the next one, and the next one was 80% blocked. And I was like, wow, I'm truly blessed. Doctor leaves. Before he leaves, he said to me, Mr. Giancola, we got it by 10 minutes. 4:48 in the morning. As you can see, this is what you call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I remember every second. Doctor walks in and says, Mr. Giancola, you're doing really well. Your platelets are recovering. So your platelets can go up or down depending on whether you have an infection in your body, heart attack, that's your body fighting. And I said, okay, Mr. Giancola, you're a very lucky man. We got you by 10 minutes. They said that for the second time. 6:20 in the morning, the third doctor came in. Said, Mr. Giancola, I got a little story for you. I said, okay, doctor. He was an Asian doctor, such a young guy. He said, Dan, he said, can I call you Dan? I said, absolutely. He said, I was at one of your games. You took your wristband off and you pointed at me, and my dad was all ready, and you threw your wristband. And some guy in the front grabbed it and took it away. He said, I just wanted to tell you that story. I'm a huge fan of yours. I said to him, I said, well, doctor, I said, first of all, I want to thank you for two things: for saving my life and for making me feel so old. He just laughed. He said, why? I said, well, you were a kid and here I am now, and you're my doctor, and you're one of the doctors that saved my life. He said, Mr. Giancola, we saved you by 10 minutes. I said, doctor, I got to ask you, what do you mean? He said, we couldn't have brought you back. In about 10 minutes, you were going to have a massive heart attack. We couldn't have revived you. We would have never been able to bring you back. And that's when mortality hits. And that really challenged my mental health. But that I know I've gone on, but I've legitimately
Nah, you didn't go
covered
on.
that.
Let it, whatever you gotta say, you say, bud.
Well,
There ain't no time constraint here.
I just want to make sure that I don't go over my time. I know we got
Nah,
what
there
night?
ain't no time limit, brother. You do what you say, please. If you're okay talking about it, we're all ears.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Honestly, these tears are good tears. Trust me. Trust me,
Amen.
they're good tears.
Amen. And I was ready to put an avatar on so you couldn't see my face. That's fine.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
No,
Like you said, we're all
it is what
family
it
here.
is, man. You feel the brother, you know, it brings back a lot of emotion
It
to a lot
does.
of people that have been with a loved one and have been through this step by step, watching it unfold.
Yeah.
You know, even if it didn't happen to them directly.
You know, after that, a lot of people think, you know, after that, you know, it's all about the recovery and the recovery as far as physical. I can handle physical. I can handle physical pain. That doesn't bother me one bit. I know what I went through to achieve my dream to play professional football. I went through things, man, that nobody should put their bodies through.
Hmm.
But for me, and again, this is not about my book. I'm just saying in the book, the next part of it was about my mental health.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
So you buy in. You have to buy in at some point. So for me, like when I do my motivational speaking, one of the things that I always tell people are my 3 whys. So your first why is like what I've been doing for a good majority of this podcast is why me? Why me? Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why me? Your second why is anger. Why me? My life was so good. It was so good. Where our studio is booming. My motivational speaking is taking off. Now I got to take all these pills. I got to take like 14 pills a day. At one point, it was 21 pills a day. You understand? I didn't even take vitamins. I didn't even take vitamins.
Yeah.
I took a protein powder. I took something that they call creatine, and I took glutamine for recovery. That's it. That's all. Next thing you know, I get out of this thing and I got 21 pills, 25 pills.
That you have to take. Yep.
Right? My doctor looks at me and she says to me, my specialist, you can no longer lift heavy again, ever. Why? Because now you have stents.
Yeah.
You'll end up getting what they call an embolism.
Yep.
You'll die right there.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay. My mental health went for a shit. I remember laying on the floor on my side. All I wanted to do was sleep. I was depressed.
Yeah.
Whenever I hit with anxiety, I get pins and needles in my hands, pins and needles in my foot, pins and all the way up my leg. I would get nauseous. I would be dry heaving like crazy. And 2 years, bro. 2 years of that. 2 years. Finally, I remember I got to the point where I started going to the gym and feeling like myself again. And although I couldn't do what I once did, I knew that my experience as a personal trainer is going to be extremely valuable to me now. So now I just basically said to myself, my third why, by the way, why not me? I'm no better than you. I'm no better than anybody else in this chat. I am no better than anybody out there. So I went through what I call my 3 whys. Once I had that realization of why not me, that's when my life started to change. Next thing you know, fast forward now. Unless you want to ask me anything else about my mental health right now, you're totally can ask before
No,
I go to the next thing.
most people have probably never heard me this quiet. I want to just, no, I have nothing to say, but for now, I just keep
Okay.
going.
I just
Because,
want to make sure that I don't
nah,
keep
you're
yapping
good,
if you want to
man.
ask me a question.
Nah, this is you. This is all you tonight, buddy. And like I said, they're probably saying, boy, we never heard Craig this quiet before in his life. I'm just,
I just want to make sure, because now I'm going to go into the next thing.
just go, baby, roll.
So I bought in. Next thing you know, August 17th, 2022, 2 years later, I'm sitting in this office. I remember that morning I got up and I was really hyper on my online training. The studio was starting to come back. You know, COVID stuff started to drop. Next thing you know, my mom messages me after. I think my mom's on right now. She probably would.
Yeah, she did.
She'll remember
She is
this.
in the house.
Yeah, perfect. She said to me, Danny, she said, why are you so hyper? You got to relax a little bit. I said, Mom, I'm having a good day. I'm good. Did you have a coffee? I said, no, Mom, I didn't have no coffee because, you know, I really tried to stay away from any caffeine. So, Mom, I just feel good. It's about, I think it was about 8:15. And I'm sitting in my office. Class is finished at 7 o'clock. Next thing you know, I'm here by myself. And the way I describe it in the book is I've never taken a drug in my life. I have nothing to, I've never smoked weed, nothing. So I have nothing to compare to other than when you go under anesthetic and a doctor says count down from 10 to 0 and you get to like 9, 8, and all of a sudden tunnel vision and you're out.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I couldn't talk. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. I couldn't talk. I couldn't communicate. And I remember being really scared. Like, what's happening? What's going on? Next thing you know, my right leg started turning in. My right arm started turning in. And I just remember falling out of the chair. And I was fighting. I was with my left arm. I was trying to push myself up. And I was fighting. Made my way back into the chair and I fell over again. Next thing you know, buddy walks in and I always lock my doors. I didn't lock my door that night. Next thing you know, he grabs me by my face and all I could see was his nose and his eyes. And next thing you know, I looked to my left on the floor and I saw wheels, which looked like to a stretcher, and a set of 4 boots. I don't remember anything else. I blacked out. I was out. I wake up in Niagara Falls in the emergency room, and next thing you know, there was a nurse hovering over the top of me. She's like, Dan, can you hear me? And I could totally hear her. And I would get so frustrated because I wanted to say, yes, I can hear you. But I kept looking to my left because I was so frustrated. And then I realized I couldn't move the right side of my body. So next thing you know, I would grab my arm and It just dropped. And it felt like it weighed about 250 pounds. I couldn't move my leg. I didn't know what was going on. I just remember my wife saying to me, Dan, do you see Dr. Chu? He's on the monitor. I looked to my left. His daughter, so he's a neurologist. His daughter was and her husband were one of my clients. So I was comprehending what she was saying to me, but I wasn't piecing anything together. All I heard was, we got to get him out of here now to Hamilton for surgery. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Here I am again now, 2 years later. I'm in an ambulance. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. Next thing you know, we were about 5 minutes from Hamilton, the exact same hospital that I was in for my heart attack 2 years later. Yeah, you did say that. You did say that. I see what my wife said.
Yeah, I can't look at it.
Yeah.
I can't.
She said, this is not how your story ends. I was 5 minutes away. And I'll zoom this up because I know you can see here. This picture right here. My daughter snapped at. My arm shot up. Next thing you know, paramedic looks at me and she goes, hi. I look over at her and I go, hi, how are you? She says to me, how are you? Do you know where you are? I remember saying, ambulance? She said, yeah. Can you move your arm? I said, yeah. Not realizing that's a big thing because 2 minutes ago I was doing this. Next thing you know, my arm shoots up and I'm going like this with my hand. She goes, can you do me a favor? Can you lift your left leg? I lifted my left leg, no problem. It was my right leg. She says, okay, try to resist me. So I tried. I could have kicked her through the ambulance to the roof. Next thing you know, she says, can you move your right leg? I said, yeah, absolutely. She pushes my right leg, tries to put my right leg down. She couldn't move it. Next thing you know, I hear her on the pager. She's talking to the hospital. They gave me what they call, they believe it's called a TIA or something along that line. If it's given to you within 4 hours of your stroke, you have a fighting chance. They administered it to me within 45 minutes. Next thing you know, they wheel me out and they're wheeling me quickly, right into the CAT scan. I get in there. When I say to you there was about 15 people in there, that's probably an understatement. All I heard was somebody say, we got to get him in for brain surgery. I still wasn't comprehending. Next thing you know, they wheel me out. The CAT scan's like 5 feet from me. And the doctor says, how are you doing? I said, good, doctor, I'm doing good. You seem to be communicating okay. I said, yeah. Do you know your name? I said, yeah, Dan. Do you know what year it is? I said, August something. I think I said 19 something, some crazy. It was 2022. I had no clue.
Wow.
He says, okay. Or he says, okay. He said, Mr. Giancola, do you know why you're here? And next thing you know, I said, no, not really, doctor. I don't know why I'm here. You had a massive stroke. She said, when you left Niagara Falls Hospital, you had what we called a grade 17. So to put it in perspective, a level 10, a grade 10 stroke is permanent damage, permanent disability. A level 17, so if that tells you a magnitude, you're brain dead and you're dead. Bro, I'm here with all my faculties, bro. Next thing you know, he says to me, you're leaving a level 2. You had what we called best case scenario. I overheard him talking to my wife, saying the same thing about the best case scenario. I ended up in the Niagara Falls Hospital, where they specialize in stroke. My first day I was in the ICU, and I remember looking at the doctor. The doctor came in and told me about the severity and everything. Told me I was very lucky. I said, doctor, would it be okay if I get up and I start to walk? And he said, no. He said, I really don't want you to, because it risks you falling. I said, doctor, I can't pity myself here. This is what I need to do. He said, if you promise me that you'll do it with somebody here assisted. He left, and the second he left, I got from the laying down position to the sitting up position. That was step 1 for me. The next day I got the green light to actually get up. I grabbed, it's on TikTok actually, I put it up on TikTok. I grabbed the table, the food tray table. My wife wanted to help me up, and I said, no, I got it. I got up. I slid the table to the left. I slid the table to the right, and I went side to side. From that point on, I swear to God that every hour I would get up for 10 minutes and walk. I did that my first day. My second day, I would do 10 wall push-ups. Then I'd grab the railing on the wall and I would do 10 wall squats. And when I say to you, it was hell, it was hell. The third day, I started speed walking down the hall. And I started doing a few more push-ups. And I started doing more squats. On the fourth day, in the morning, I remember speed walking down the hall. And I remember looking to my left. And just like the hospital in Hamilton for the heart attacks. Craig, man, every room, somebody was being fed. Somebody was having their diaper changed. And then here I am, walking down the hallway, bro. And I probably had it worse than most people in there. And I was spared. And it actually broke my heart, because I thought to myself, it's not fair. Nobody in this place deserves this. My wife and daughter showed up about an hour later. And this is kind of a funny story. I started doing high knees in between each door. I happened to not even realize it. I happened to run right by my room. And my wife will tell you this. She'll probably get a kick out of it. She all of a sudden saw me run by the door. She looks at my daughter and she says, "You're not going to believe what your dad's doing right now." She goes, what? He says, he's jogging past the room. She goes, oh my God. I walk in the room and she says, Dad, were you just running? I said, yeah. She goes, how embarrassing. That made me feel so good. I had such a good chuckle from that. Next thing you know, the doctor walks over and the doctor says to me, Mr. Giancola, you've had a full recovery. Your last CAT scan that you did indicates that you have very minimal brain bleed. And we have all the belief that it will basically be drawn in with the rest of the blood. Like it's going to dissipate.
Dissipate, yeah.
So that's so you know, when I have problems with words, that's the little bit of a side thing of my stroke. And he says, we're not even going to take away your license. And it shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I remember walking out. I remember the wind hitting me in the face. And I remember looking at the trees, the grass. From that point on, man, bro, I changed. And some people say I'm different. Some actually say not for the better.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay. Because I used to be a pushover. I would take everything to heart.
Yeah.
And I would just let it destroy me. And it could be the littlest things, bro.
Yeah, I know that guy.
When you face death, not once, but twice, and have two of the worst situations, a widowmaker and a massive stroke, and you're able to sit here on Craig Gatto's podcast, and you're able to communicate, you're able to walk, you're able to form a sentence.
Thank you.
That's a blessing, bro. And so yeah, in some cases, I've changed.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I've changed for the better. Now for me, I have a small circle.
Yeah.
And the only people I want in that circle are people that are positive, supportive, motivating, loving. Those are the people I want, bro. Outside of that, I love you. I'll respect you for who you are.
Right. Can't
As
have
far
that
as it
around
goes.
you, right? Because it'll bring you down.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have time for BS. And like I said before, possibly yes, not now. So yeah, I'm still fighting to fight with mental health right now.
Yeah.
I haven't changed my my anxiety, depression medication, and unfortunately, I took Prozac, and I felt suicidal instantly.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, that's enough of that shit. I got off it for a little bit. I got back to my training again. I surrounded myself with positive people.
Yeah.
And I'm doing good, bro. I got my book now that's out. My studio is starting to come back. My motivational speaking is starting to take off. I'm loving being on here with you right now and talking about this. And just know, bro, just know, I had a massive panic attack before you and I came on.
Really?
You would have never known.
No.
And now I feel great because I got it out. So thank you for allowing me to talk to you about my story. And although I've known you for a very short period of time, my brother, I think Nikki may even said it to you. I feel like I've known you my whole life, bro. And I got a kind of a feeling, although I know nothing about you, I got a kind of a feeling that we kind of share some struggles together, my bro.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, just a bit. We've never even talked about it. I don't know jack about you. I just know you have a great podcast. And I didn't get an opportunity to say this, so I'm going to say it now because I said it at the beginning. And I want to say this to you. So I said this at the beginning of the last podcast. And you were talking about integrity and being real. And some people give you shit or whatever, or don't like it. And I told you, if everybody drove a red Buick in this world would be damn boring. We all got a past. Hey, trust me, I ain't no Mr. Perfect. Lord knows I've done my share of shit in my life.
Yeah.
But guess what, bro? That's my past. And you have a past. And everybody on this podcast has a past. And we don't owe an apology to anybody. Just be you and be real. And that's what I wanted to say to you. And I didn't have a chance. I said at the beginning last time, bro, you know, nobody apology. That's what separates your podcast from all the other ones that I've done. And I've done some amazing podcasts in the last 7 months. And I got to tell you, bro, when it comes to being real, you're numero uno. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your ass. Anybody who knows me, my wife, my daughter, my brother, my mother, they know, they've seen my podcast. This is the most real podcast. You do your thing, bro, and never apologize for being you. And that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say, bro. I love you like a brother, and I can't wait to come out to New York and see you. We're going to go for dinner.
Why'd you have to do that?
Well, you did that video and you effed me up, so I'm effing you up.
Amazing. Oh, boy. Dan, you're a special man. And
so are you, bro.
I got to tell you, buddy, you were able to, your story affects people, as you see, in a lot of ways. And wow, those are powerful words you shared, and I'm supposed to be thanking you for being here with us and feeling your emotion. And somehow, through all of this, you have a way to tell me what you feel about me and what we're trying to do here. Thank you, and that makes me feel really good. Thank you.
I appreciate it, buddy.
More than you know.
I don't, just like you, when you talk about being real, I don't bullshit anybody because
I think
I've been
important.
bullshitted my whole life. So
I love you, man.
love you too, bro.
I know you know you not only, first of all, folks, please, Dan has not asked me at any point to try to promote in any way his book. But folks, please, you guys know how I am. You got to read it. You have to read this book. There's something in there for everyone. You'll take something out of this. Not many people go through this and live to talk about it. And I got very emotional in this video because I've been through this, through whether it be my father, my wife lost her mother during COVID, and she couldn't get in the hospital. She waited outside on the street on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, and in the pouring rain, she was not allowed in, and her mom was was that she was losing her mom. And back then, she had a number to call, and she had to call it every hour. And I couldn't be with her. The kids couldn't be with her. It's tough.
Yeah.
And I lost my dad like that. And as you, God spared you, and my dad didn't have the technology with stints and whatnot. But you know what? God has a plan for all. And you know what? It was my dad's time. I came to grips with that. He was only 56, but it puts, time is guaranteed to no one. No one. And I understand that because I just understand it because I do have faith. And it didn't take me 20 years in prison to gain faith and find who God is. And I'll leave it at that. But the story resonates in so many ways. And for some out there, I'm sure it resonates in a lot of ways. And the mental health part of it, boy, that could be a conversation for another day.
Oh man, bro.
I would love to have you whenever you're ready, because I have a lot to share with you that I am not ashamed of sharing. In no way, no, I'm an open book, like I've always said. So if me sharing anything to do with mental health can help someone, boy.
I would love to come on and have that conversation.
Yeah, Dan, you always
bro.
have a seat here, you know that. And I want to thank you for another thing. We do other shows here and boxing, whatever it is. You join us a lot in the chat. It's not just about for you, it was not just a platform for you. You took to the community. You took to our friends and family that we all want to try to be one here. A chat that's respectful, no cursing and drama going on, fighting with each other. Nah, we got a special group here, and that's truthfully, Brother Nicky knows this. Only special people come up here, and you're special, my man.
Thank you, brother.
You are special in so many ways. You have so much to offer, and that's why the good Lord, it was not your time, and the miracles that were created and you went through were meant for you.
Yeah.
And who am I, right? I'm just another guy telling you what I believe, and I truly believe it. That's why I'm saying it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
God bless you so much. I pray, Dan, everything that's out there for you to get, I pray you get it. Whatever that is, whatever that might be.
Well, we're in the middle right now of talking about a documentary right now anyway. So we at least got that conversation going on. And like I told you before, this book means more to me than it's probably one of the greatest things other than having, our daughter, which is truly the greatest gift I've ever had. But outside of that, this book resonates so much to me because I know it's going to help so many people.
You know the gentleman that we have on Friday nights?
Yes.
He has the comment. If you can't see it, I'll read it to you.
James Tamara. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Love you, bro.
But Dan, that's for you too, brother. That it means what we're doing here, man.
That's amazing, bro.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy. That's amazing, bro.
I just want you to know, anytime, and your seat is always waiting for you here, my friend. Always.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm coming.
All right.
Told you.
And I'll get you, and I will get you during football season, and we will critique kickers.
Let's do it.
That might be hard for you to do, though. We'll do it in a nice way.
Absolutely.
I want to tell you, your family, I love you. Thank you so much. And
love you too, bro.
I don't want to leave this on a sad note. It's not sad. This is a triumphant victory. So I'm going to play that again going out the door. But now let's look at it like what you went through. But now we know you're here, brother. And you made it through all of that.
Thank you,
I
bro.
love you. I'm a phone call away. We do text, we do talk, and we do see you in the chat. The whole
Absolutely,
thing.
bro.
I love you guys. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Rip it out now. That's a fact. I love you guys. And on the way out the door, brother, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. I mean that.
Very
brother.
welcome, bro.
And
My
we'll
pleasure.
speak soon. We will speak soon, Dan. You're a special person, and I
Thank you,
am
bro.
proud and blessed to have you cross my path in my life. I needed it. I needed you.
And right back at you, bro. I love you, man.
You got it. Amen. God bless everybody.